Dear students, today we will discuss pneumonia. Pneumonia is the infection of pulmonary parenchyma. Any infection of pulmonary parenchyma is called pneumonia. Now, normally the lung, it has got some defense mechanism to combat various infections or various pathogens. And pneumonia develops when these defense mechanisms are impaired or whenever the resistance of the host is lower due to any cause. Now, we should know the predisposing factors of pneumonia. Uh, First is loss of calf reflex. It may be due to coma, anesthesia, neuromuscular disorder, drugs, or chest pain. So that may lead to this loss of suppression of the calf reflex. It may lead to aspiration of the gastric contents. Next is diminished mucin or ciliary function, diminished ciliary function. This occurs in cases of injury to the mucociliary apparatus by either impairment of ciliary function due to cigarette smoke or inhalation of the hot or corrosive gases, viral diseases, and also the genetic disturbances like immotile cilia syndrome. So these are the causes which interferes with the ciliary function and may predispose to pneumonia. Next is alveolar macrophage interference or interference with the phagocytic or bactericidal action of the alveolar macrophages by alcohol, tobacco smoke, anoxia, or oxygen intoxication. Then comes the pulmonary congestion edema, which also predisposes to pneumonia, development of pneumonia. And finally, the accumulation of secretions in conditions such as cystic fibrosis and bronchial obstruction. We have already read in bronchiectasis. Yes, in cystic fibrosis and some other condition, there is accumulation of secretion which predisposes to infection. So these are the predisposing factors of pneumonia, and one type of pneumonia sometimes predisposes to another type, especially in debilitating patients. Now coming to the classification of the pneumonia. Pneumonia can be classified according to the etiology, that is according to the etiological agent, and it is important from the treatment point of view. For the treatment purpose, it is important, this etiological classification. First is the community or acquired bacterial pneumonia. It is a long list. Just go through it. Everything is not necessary, but you should focus on the important aspects. Community acquired bacterial pneumonia caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae, commonly Haemophilus influenzae, Moraxella, Staph aureus, Klebsiella, etc. Then community acquired atypical pneumonia caused by the viral and mycoplasma, that is viral pneumonias and mycoplasma pneumonia, particularly causing severe acute respiratory syndrome. Then the nosocomial pneumonia caused by the Enterobacteriaceae, aspiration pneumonia caused by anaerobic organisms or anaerobic bacteria, chronic pneumonias caused by histoplasmosis, blastomycosis, coccidioidomycosis, that is mainly by the fungi, and then necrotizing pneumonia along with lung abscess, and pneumonia in immunocompromised host, which are mostly caused by cytomegalovirus, pneumocystis species, Mycobacterium avium intracellulare, etc. So this is the etiological classification of pneumonia. Next, coming to the morphological classification of pneumonia. Now, morphologically, the pneumonia is classified according to the anatomic distribution of the lesion within the pulmonary parenchyma, and there are two types. One is lobar pneumonia, another is bronchopneumonia. Lobar pneumonia, here the fibrinosuppurative consolidation, it involves a large portion of a lobe or the entire lobe. And in case of bronchopneumonia, there is patchy consolidation of the lung involving part of a lobe. Now, this bronchopneumonia is particularly common in two extremes of the life, that is in children and in elderly patients. So, both lobar pneumonia and bronchopneumonia, there is consolidation. So, we must first know what is consolidation. It is the replacement of the alveolar air by the fibrinosuppurative exudate, that is consolidation. In lobar pneumonia, the consolidation is generalized, and it involves a larger part of a lobe or the entire lobe, whereas in bronchopneumonia it is patchy consolidation of the pulmonary parenchyma. This is a diagram showing the difference between the bronchopneumonia and lobar pneumonia. We can see here patchy involvement in bronchopneumonia and generalized diffuse involvement in lobar pneumonia. Now, coming to the morphology of lobar pneumonia, we will discuss first the lobar pneumonia. Now, in lobar pneumonia, there are four stages of development of inflammatory response. The inflammatory response in lobar pneumonia, it develops in four stages: stage of congestion, stage of red hepatization, stage of grey hepatization, and finally the stage of resolution. First is the stage of congestion. Now, in this stage, the lung is grossly heavy, boggy, and red, and the frothy fluid may come out if pressure is applied over the cut surface of the lung. And microscopically, in this stage, there is intraalveolar fluid with few neutrophils and presence of numerous bacteria within the alveolar space. Now, so this is the showing the stage of congestion. This is the schematic diagram of stage of congestion. Next is the stage of red hepatization. In stage of red hepatization, there is grossly the lung appears distinctly red, as the name red hepatization, and it is firm and airless. Firm, dry and airless, having liver-like consistency, hence the name hepatization. So lung is distinctly red, it is firm, dry and airless, looking like liver. And the affected part, it sinks in the water as there is little air, it is airless. So little air in the alveoli, so it sinks in the water instead of floating. And there is exudate over the pleural surface. Now microscopically, there is massive confluent exudation within the alveolar space, which consists of red cells, neutrophils and fibrin. So this is the stage of red hepatization. This is a diagram of red hepatization. Coming to the third stage, that is the stage of grey hepatization. Grossly here, the appearance is same as red hepatization, but the color of the lung is greyish brown. So lung is greyish brown, dry, granular surface. It is also airless. It sinks in water, and there is thick exudate over the pleural surface. And microscopically, there is progressive disintegration of the red cells within the alveolar space in this stage, and there is persistence of a fibrinosuppurative exudate. So red cells are no more there because there is progressive disintegration of the red cells and persistence of a fibrinosuppurative exudation within the alveoli. Now coming to the final stage, that is the resolution. This is grey hepatization, diagram of grey hepatization. And finally the resolution. In this stage, the consolidated exudate within the alveolar space, it undergoes progressive enzymatic digestion to produce a granular semi-fluid debris which is either reabsorbed or ingested by the macrophages, or it is coughed up by the patient, or it is organized by the fibroblasts growing into it. So it has got many fates. So in the stage of resolution, the consolidation within the alveolar space, it undergoes progressive enzymatic digestion, and ultimately a granular semi-fluid debris is produced, which is either reabsorbed or ingested by the macrophages. It is maybe coughed up by the patient, or it is organized by the fibroblasts growing into it. Now, here we should remember that the pleura underlying the infected pulmonary parenchyma, it also shows a inflammatory reaction. So there is pleuritis, and there may be consolidation extending to the surface of the pleura, and sometimes there is fibrous thickening of the pleura, and often it get adhered to the pulmonary surface. It get adhered to the surface of the lung. So we should also focus our attention on the pleura, on the underlying pleura, which also undergoes an inflammatory response and may show pleuritis, features of pleuritis, and ultimately leading to fibrosis and adherence. Now, coming to the bronchopneumonia. So this is the stage of resolution. Here we can see a gross specimen of lung showing a specimen of lung showing stage of gray hepatization. You can see the lung is firm, dry, airless, and almost looking like liver, and the color is grayish brown. So it is a specimen of lung showing the stage of gray hepatization of global pneumonia. This is just a description of the specimen. These specimens, they come in the practical exam. They are important for you for the practical exam, for the purpose of practical examination. And you have to describe the specimen like this. So this is just showing you the description, how to describe a specimen. And first you should describe the specimen properly, and then you should utter the diagnosis. Next is bronchopneumonia. Now in bronchopneumonia, there is patchy consolidation of the lung, and these consolidations, they are actually areas of acute suppurative inflammation, and they may be patchy through one lobe, but more often they are multilobar, patchy through multiple lobes, and frequently it is bilateral and basal because of the tendency of the secretions to gravitate in the lower lobes. And well-developed lesions of bronchopneumonia are usually 3 to 4 centimeter in diameter. They are slightly elevated, dry, granular, grey red to yellow, and poorly delimited at their margin. So this is the gross lesions of the bronchopneumonia. Now microscopically, there is suppurative neutrophil-rich exudate that fills the bronchi, bronchioles, and the adjacent alveolar spaces. So this is the microscopy. Now this is a histological section showing the features of acute bacterial pneumonia. You can see that there is congested capillaries and there is extensive neutrophilic exudation into the alveoli, and actually it is the histology showing, this picture is showing the histology of the stage of red hepatization. Coming to the complication of pneumonia, complications may be delayed resolution, there may be abscess formation, there due to tissue destruction and necrosis, or there may be empyema, that is spread of infection to the pleural cavity and formation of pus within the pleural cavity, this is empyema. There may be organization of the exudate which may convert a part of the lung into solid tissue, fibrosis, and there may be bacterial dissemination to various distant organs like heart valves, pericardium, brain, kidneys, spleen, joints, so causing metastatic abscesses, endocarditis, meningitis or suppurative arthritis. So these are the complications of pneumonia. Next is clinical features. The clinical features of pneumonia, there is acute onset of high rise of temperature, acute onset high fever, and along with productive cough and chest pain. The fever may be accompanied with shaking, chill. Cough is usually associated with production of mucopurulent sputum. Occasionally, the patients may have hemoptysis. And if the pleura is also involved, then there is the features of pleuritis, that is the pleural pain, and pleural friction rub may be present. And death in pneumonia occurs due to various complications which we have already discussed, like empyema, meningitis, endocarditis or pericarditis, that is mostly due to the spread or dissemination of the infection to the distant organs that causes death of the patient, that may cause death of the patient. But nowadays it is very rare because quick application of antibiotics, effective antibiotics, have reduced the complications. Last part, that is the diagnosis. Diagnosis can be done by various investigations like chest radiograph, which is quite sensitive in pneumonia. Um, in case of lobar pneumonia, the lesion is a radio-opaque lesion is seen, usually well circumscribed, whereas in bronchopneumonia it shows focal opacities in the chest radiograph. And then sputum examination can be done after sputum examination may be done for gram staining and culture, so to find out the organism etiological agent, and according to the agent proper antibiotic therapy can be given to the patient. And invasive procedures include fiber optic bronchoscopy, bronchoalveolar lavage, transbronchial biopsy, etc. And open lung biopsy, though it is not very much common, bronchoscopic biopsy is much more common today. And other diagnostic tests include blood culture or the serological studies in specific cases. So this is all the diagnosis. So this is all about pneumonia. Thank you for your hearing.